welcome. My name is Zeb Jansani. I'm the high school principal at Bethel Park. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and administrators of the Bethel Park School District, we want to thank you for attending this evening, and we'd like to welcome you. The National Honor Society is induction evenings, one of my favorite evenings of the year. The National Honor Society is an adjunct of the National Association of Secondary School Principals. This organization was founded in the early 1920s to recognize and encourage those students who demonstrate the best attributes that a high school principal hopes their students will learn and demonstrate. Pittsburgh was the birthplace of the National Honor Society. The selection of our inductees is to be made by a high school faculty and not the high school principal. Tonight, we recognize individuals who met their qualifications, but also possess the ingredients of being a person who is committed to the school and community at large. For this, I congratulate the 2013 class of the National Honor Society. I'd also like to thank the current members, this year's seniors and juniors, and those that are obviously in the National Honor Society for their work. You're going to hear about that in a few minutes, some of the amazing things that our students do. In addition to our congratulating of our inductees and our current members, I'd like to also compliment the parents, grandparents, friends, and family members for who you have served as mentors for our people, our young folks. You've also been great role models, and you've helped them to work in a direction that's been very, very positive. So for that, we thank you for all of your work. And now at this time, I'd like to introduce our president of our Bethel Park chapter, Caitlin Wagner.
My name is Caitlin Wagner, and I've had the honor of being the president of the National Honor Society this year. I want to start by saying congratulations to all of the new inductees. You guys should really be excited. You have a lot to look forward to. I know being a member of the NHS looks great on college applications, but you have to actively participate and do your part for it to really mean anything. The NHS does so many great things for the community, and you should be excited to play your part this year. I'm so proud of everything we've accomplished this past year. All three of our committees truly excelled. First of all, the Community Service Committee, led by Rachel Wida, Julie Buchwald, and Tom Ernst, conducted a winter clothing drive for SHIM at the beginning of the year, donating numerous coats, gloves, hats, and scarves to the less fortunate around our area. They also participated in Trick or Treat for UNICEF and raised over $400. They are currently holding a coin drive titled Pennies for Patients, and the donations go to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. All the while, they have been rounding up volunteers for various activities around the community, such as the upcoming Parker Spaghetti Dinner / Bake Sale, which will be on Sunday, May 5th. It will be held in the cafeteria here at the high school from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. In case anyone wants to volunteer, bake some cookies, or at least attend for the dinner. Our Dance and Induction Committee, led by Megan McClendon and Shannon Fagan, held the largest Glowfest ever this year, with over 700 people in attendance and raising over $6,000, and 20% of which was donated to the Parker Family Fund. They also planned and set up this entire evening for us, so make sure to thank them when you get a chance. They're currently planning the Battle of the Bands, which is going to take place on Saturday, May 4th, in the courtyard here at the school. So feel free to join us there as well. All proceeds from that will be donated to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Last but not least, our PR and Fundraising Committee, led by Rachel Dunn and Kaylee Poe, did an excellent job with their biggest project this year, the surprise boxes. We sold over 70 boxes, handing out prizes such as gift cards to local stores and restaurants, clothing, and even Taylor Swift tickets. All of the proceeds, a total of $740, went to Military Connections. This committee is currently helping out our high school baseball team by selling pirate tickets to the May 31st game. And most of the proceeds are going to allowing the team to play their annual game at PNC Park, but the rest is going to a charity called Bev's Birthdays, which is an organization that throws birthday parties for children in orphanages once a year. Every month, I mean. I want to recognize our Vice President, Divya Ragu, for always being there to lend a helping hand, our Secretary, Kelly Pelagi, for sending her always pleasant weekly emails and keeping everyone informed, and our Treasurer, Lucy Cedar-Franzak, for keeping track of all of our expenses and donations. We wouldn't have been anywhere near as successful as we were this year without any of their help. I also want to recognize our NHS senior and junior attendance officers, Sonia Shake and Rachel Gaddis. They kept track of everyone's meetings for the year to ensure that they meet the requirements of 7 general membership meetings and 9 committee meetings in order to stay a part of the NHS. We really squeeze a lot of service and activity into the school year and try to donate to as many charities as we can, and I think we did an excellent job with that this year. My biggest goal for the year was to get as many members as possible to actively participate in all of these projects and truly feel the satisfaction of doing their part and volunteering for the community. The primary impetus for this role was a rule enacted this year stating that each member of the NHS must complete 5 of their 35 required community service hours through the school, as in volunteering to help with any of the projects that the 3 committees set up. We saw a lot of improvement in the way of members actively participating, and I hope it continues to improve with all of you new inductees. Now that you've earned your spot in the NHS, don't just be stationary members. Really do your part and even step up to take a role of leadership so that you too can feel the satisfaction of helping others, becoming more well-rounded students, and preparing yourselves for the future. And keep in mind the 4 pillars of the NHS that got you here tonight. Now I'd like to introduce Divya Ragu to speak about the first pillar. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Divya and I'm the current Vice President of NHS. Leadership is one of the pillars of the National Honor Society because it ensures that you are not only trying new things to further your own abilities, but also inspiring others to do the same. Those seated behind me and before me are members of NHS because they have worked to motivate and encourage others, whether as part of a class, a club, or a sport. Leadership can be defined as the ability to handle adversity. Being a leader means being challenged by those you are asked to lead and being able to channel negative energy into motivation to reach a goal. Leaders are able to take difficulties that are thrown at them head on and turn them into experiences that they can learn from. Throughout this school year, I have been lucky enough to be given 3 leadership roles as head Bethette, NHS Vice President, and a dance teacher, and let me tell you, they are pretty demanding responsibilities. Leading is not easy. The cons sometimes seem to outweigh the pros, but the reason for taking on such important roles is to make the experience one you take pride in being a part of. Even though your path may be scattered with obstacles at times, the effort put in makes it worthwhile and more rewarding than anything else. Another big part of being a leader is knowing when to step back and be a follower instead. Taking charge can get old, and everybody deserves a break. More than that, a leader should understand that it's much harder to do alone. To be a part of the National Honor Society, you must display the skills of a leader, just like those chosen to be inducted yearly. We have students that successfully created and run organizations, and others who work multiple jobs as well as do community service outside. This great group of kids is one that definitely deserves the prestige of being members of the NHS, and we are proud to have them here. One of the biggest goals of NHS is to cultivate leadership skills and develop new leaders. We aim to foster the leadership potential of applicants and help build it into something great. We welcome our new inductees and hope they are ready for the challenge of putting forth their abilities and being the leaders we expect them to be. Thank you. I would now like to invite Rachel Wida up here to speak on the pillar of service.
Thank you, Divya. My name is Rachel Wida, and I am currently one of the chairs of NHS's Community Service Committee, along with Julie Buchwald and Tel Mearns. I am so proud of all of the amazing things that our committee has been able to accomplish this year. With the help of our committee members, as well as the NHS general membership, we have been able to raise hundreds of dollars for organizations like Trick or Treat for UNICEF and the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We have also been able to collect dozens of clothing donations for the South Hills Interfaith Ministry, and overall, we have performed thousands of hours of community service as a group. Needless to say, community service is an integral part of the National Honor Society, which is why each applicant must show an outstanding track record of serving his or her community in order to gain membership to the NHS. 35 hours of community service were required of all applicants, and this challenge was not only met, but also exceeded in most cases. So many students perform truly meaningful service, from mission trips to dedicated volunteering for organizations and causes that they feel passionately about. And they had well over the minimum hour requirement. New inductees did not take the task of performing community service lightly, and each future member proved that he or she placed a high value on serving this community. Undoubtedly, all of the students in this room are people who have made service a significant part of their lives. Rather than simply volunteering here and there when it's convenient for them, they go out of their way to help others daily and make the world around them a better place through their actions. The altruistic nature of each student on this stage and in this crowd is undeniable, and Bethel Park High School is truly fortunate to have students like these here to improve our town and our school bit by bit with every day. In addition to community service, NHS also requires its members to show proof of scholarship, and I would like to invite Julie Buckwald to the stand to discuss that pillar in detail. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. GPA, SATs, ACTs, and PSSAs. It seems like there exists a plethora of examinations and tests in order to measure our intelligence and academic aptitude. These acronyms seem to be the most important vocabulary words we know as high school students. And this is true to a certain extent. One of the key pillars of the National Honor Society at Bethel Park High School is that of leadership. Scholarship is the foundation to all three pillars that the National Honor Society promotes: community service, leadership, and character. Though students automatically assume scholarship to mean such key vocabulary words as previously mentioned, scholarship far surpasses anything that could ever be taught in a classroom. Though yes, GPA, SATs, and ACTs are very important, as well as all of our extracurricular activities each student here is involved in, it is even more important to be committed and invested in the world around you as a lifelong learner. True scholars learn not for the enjoyment of the pursuit of knowledge, though this is an absolutely wonderful attainment, but to become more productive and charitable citizens in the world as we know it today. True scholars not only invest their time in their academic pursuits, but also in numerous other activities that foster more characteristics rather than just their intellect. Remember that an unfaltering structure needs vital balance of all its pillars anchored in its foundation to ensure that the building remains strong and rooted. Similar to a strong structure, we as humans need an important balance in all that we do. We cannot devote 100% of ourselves to scholarship. The structure would simply cease to exist. One pillar would be left standing. All four pillars of this National Honor Society are tremendously important and require an important balance so that all can be left standing. New inductees as well as current National Honor Society members, I encourage you to remember that each of the four pillars of the National Honor Society, community service, leadership, character, and scholarship, are the sum of many, perhaps difficult decisions. These characteristics are backed by a meaningful purpose. Though GPA, SATs, ACTs, and PSSAs are all measured in numbers to us that represent our successes and merits, the things in life that truly matter simply cannot be measured. I dare you, new inductees, as well as current members of the Bethel Park National Honor Society, to dig deeper, look farther, and pursue knowledge to a realm you never thought imaginable. Learn for the sheer joy of learning. Perhaps we can learn from the words of the American physicist known for Richard Feynman, known for the path integral formulation of quantum mechanics, a real scholar who invested all of his time and energy into pursuing his interest for the desire to learn. He says, "Study hard what interests you in the most undisciplined, irreverent, and original manner possible. Work hard to get good grades, but keep in mind that this learning advancement should be for the immeasurable, you, not merely the measurable numbers we see written on a piece of paper. In the end, these numbers do not matter as much as leadership, community service, character, scholarship, family, and friendships. These simply cannot be assigned a number." Thank you, and I now invite Megan McClendon to speak on character.
Hello everyone, my name is Megan McClendon and I'm going to speak about the character pillar. In the dictionary, character is defined as moral or ethical qualities, specifically qualities of integrity, honesty, and courage. The new inductees and current members of National Honor Society display all these characteristics and therefore have the highest character in the school and community. Furthermore, I think that character is the most important, most basic, and necessary of the four pillars. One cannot obtain the other pillars without high character. It takes a special person to be a leader, a generous person to volunteer, and a dedicated student to succeed academically. All of these requirements start and end with one basic trait: good character. In fact, having good character goes beyond NHS and high school. In order to be successful in life, character is a necessity. Having strong morals and character is a crucial quality in order to succeed in high school, college, the workforce, and beyond. It is a known fact that people respect others with good morals and character. At the end of the day, being a good person in life will get you further than anything else. It is clear that if you are a student attending this ceremony today, you have some exceptional character traits. Not only are these students genuinely great people and students, but they have also proved themselves worthy of NHS by fulfilling all of the other requirements involving academics, leadership, and community service, which all stem from their inspiring character. Moreover, good morals and ethics are the most important things we can learn in life. Our personality and character start at home. We can all agree that our parents taught us to be the outstanding people we are today. So thank you to the parents who did an amazing job raising the best kids in the community. You deserve a round of applause. In addition, I would like to thank and recognize all the new and current members of NHS. You guys are a great representation of NHS, Bethel Park, and great role models for your peers. Your high academic achievements and efforts to improve the community through leadership and service have displayed your outstanding character. Everyone here should be extremely proud of themselves. You've all earned this recognition. NHS has done a lot of amazing things this year, and it would not have been possible without all of your effort, dedication, and character. All of the new and returning members also deserve a round of applause too. Once again, I would like to congratulate all of NHS. You guys are the best and brightest in the school and community, and your high character has shown in all of the amazing things you've done this year and will continue to show through in the years to come. Thank you so much, and I would like to introduce our amazing advisor, Mr. Lorenzi.
Thank you for that introduction. Good evening. My name is John Lorenzi, and I'm the National Honor Society advisor here at Bethel Park High School. And my role is essentially to oversee the daily operations of the NHS. This is a student-run organization, so everything that gets done is mainly because of the great membership that we have. I just, rent out the facilities. So, a Bethel Park graduate in 2002, I have a great sense of pride tonight. And let me start by saying thank you to everyone who had a hand in a very successful year for our chapter. 2012-13 was a banner year for the NHS here at Bethel Park. Both our fundraising and community service efforts were fantastic. In fact, this year, over 5,000 hours of community service have been given by our current members. And without the exemplary leadership of our e-board and officers, much of what we set out to do would not have been accomplished. But we are here to celebrate the induction of 99 new members to the Bethel Park High School chapter of the National Honor Society. I want to congratulate the inductees for their diligence in the application process. The Faculty Council and Dr. Jansanti were very impressed with the teacher recommendations and the student essays. Because of this, you will now be part of the most prestigious student organization here at the high school. With this honor, though, comes great responsibility, as has been touched on by some of the officers. In order to become a member of the NHS, one must satisfy each of the 4 pillars that were just mentioned: leadership, scholarship, service, and character. Now that you have achieved entrance into the NHS, it is expected that you not only maintain the same level of commitment to the 4 pillars and to your fellow man, but also strive to continue to grow in each category. Each one of you has a gift, and in this chapter of the NHS, we expect that you give back to the community. As I'm sure many people will tell you, scholarship alone does not make a complete individual. In fact, having a 3.85 GPA is something thousands upon thousands of students in this country have accomplished. It is our goal to assist the parents in creating the significantly scarcer, well-rounded young man or woman. Thinking about the 4 pillars, you quickly realize that these traits are essential to any leader in our society. And make no mistake about it, the leaders of our society will come from groups just like this one. Yes, you should feel very proud of gaining entrance into the National Honor Society, but it is now your responsibility to give back to your community, as you already have. Whether it is through community service, leadership, or intellect, the inductees are expected to acknowledge their gifts by making the world around them a better place. I am confident in the direction of our chapter here at the high school. What gives me confidence in our direction? The juniors seated to my left and the inductees that are on stage. I am extremely proud of the example these seniors have set for the rest of the student body. Working with them has been a blessing. The senior leadership has raised more money for charity and the 2 scholarships given at the end of the year than any other group in the history of this chapter. Caitlin Wagner, Divya Ragu, Kelly Kalaji, and Lucy Cedar-Franzak, our 4 officers this year, were committed each and every day to making this community a better place. These 4 individuals, along with the rest of our NHS homeroom, were our driving force all year long. I feel truly blessed to have been able to work with them all year. Now, it is up to this year's inductees to continue the tradition of excellence that is the Bethel Park chapter of the National Honor Society. Finally, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker, a professor of astrophysics at the University of Pittsburgh, Mr. Andrew Zentner.
I'm going to roam around a little bit. I hope everybody can hear me. This thing is coming down. First of all, let me say that I'm happy to be here. I'm very honored for the invitation to speak here. And like everyone else, very proud of all of our National Honor Society inductees. I'll start by saying I've never done anything like this before. I'm going to try to not occupy too much of your time, not bore you too much, and hopefully be somewhat informative. So here we go. I'll also start by saying I normally do not like PowerPoint presentations, but I'm going to tell you why I made one just in a second. So I am a professor of astrophysics. What does that mean? I didn't know that my screen would block all of our honored guests up here. I'll show it to them afterwards. I am a professor of astrophysics. I'm also the director of graduate studies, so hopefully I know something about what it means to be successful, at least in science. That's what I'm going to talk about. But I think that a lot of these skills are transferable to other fields. All of us are not going to be scientists. We're going to be all kinds of different, lawyers and doctors and governors and all kinds of stuff. And I think a lot of what I'll try to talk about today will be transferable to all of these skills, to all of these fields. Part of the reason why I decided to go with a PowerPoint presentation, just that I am so passionate about what I do, that I could not pass up the opportunity to just show you for 2 seconds the type of stuff that I do. And the reason why I think that I have at least some little qualification to talk about success is because, only I'll do what I told John I was going to do. Try if I can see if I can operate my computer with my foot, without breaking my computer or my foot. What I do is I study space. I study the things that are out there. I study the universe. This is a picture of our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. If you've ever been out to a really remote area, maybe you've seen it before. You see the stripe of stars that runs across the sky. Can't see it very well from here. I live in Mount Lebanon, so I know. But my mother-in-law lives in very rural Michigan, and we go out there and we see the stripe across the sky. This is 100 billion stars. Just like the sun. That's the galaxy that we live in. What's amazing about this is that this is a very tiny patch of the galaxy. Of the universe, I'm sorry. If you take a picture of the universe, this is the one image that I could not pass up the opportunity to show other people. This is a picture taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. The Hubble Space Telescope pointed at a particular patch of the sky, left the shutter open, if you will, exposed the film, it's actually a CCD, exposed the film for 100 hours, pointing at one patch of the sky. This entire patch of the sky in reality is 1/80th the size of the full moon. So 80 such patches would cover a full moon. In this one picture, there are 30,000 galaxies just like the Milky Way. Each one of those galaxies has 100 billion stars. The only stars in this picture are the ones with the crosses. There's one there. There might be another one somewhere. Every other little dot here is a galaxy, just like our galaxy. This is the kind of stuff that I study. This is the stuff that I'm really, really passionate about. And a lot of people at the University of Pittsburgh are really passionate about. One of the reasons why I think I have some small qualification to talk about what our National Honor Society inductees should be thinking about is, in order to be, say, a professor of astrophysics, I don't know if this is common knowledge, you have to have discovered or figured out something that nobody else has yet figured out. Otherwise, you have absolutely no chance of getting any job at any major university. Okay? So this is something that I think all of our National Honor Society inductees can strive to do. To change the world, to do something. Now, of course, whatever I did was some tiny little piece of some larger project. Okay, I didn't really revolutionize the world, but hopefully I did my little part to make the world a better place. So I just have some few thoughts about what it takes to be successful, in particular what it takes to be successful in science. That's what I'm most qualified to speak about. But I think some of these things are transferable, like I said earlier. So obviously, let's try the foot thing. Oh, I'm so close. All right. So obviously I'm a geek. I consider that a good thing. My kids know that I'm a geek. It gets worse than that. My kids are geeks. Already? Does anybody know what this is? This is Halloween costume. Does anybody know what this costume is? It's a rocket. It's a very particular rocket. Saturn V. It is the Saturn V rocket. So he was so enamored of the astronauts that went to the moon, he decided he had to be a Saturn V rocket for Halloween. Here it is. It's almost entirely made out of duct tape. And that's my 5-year-old son, August. It was his birthday 2 days ago, actually. So, here he is. This is August on his birthday. Does anybody know what this is? Somebody's saying it. Just go ahead and yell.
Imperial Destroyer.
Imperial Star Destroyer. I'll give it to you. Okay. This is an Imperial Star Destroyer birthday cake. Here he is. So he is most certainly a geek. Because of my kids being geeks, I spend a lot of my time watching Star Wars. So when I think about all of the pillars of the National Honor Society, I think about the one person that I've learned the most from. Somebody here anticipated that coming. So I think about scholarship. I think about some of the things that Yoda has said. To me, I boil all of these things down to the most important thing about scholarship is be prepared. Sure, you're studying for exams or you're studying for something specific, but don't get lost in the fact that what you're actually studying for is so that when you are a grown-up, one day hopefully I'll be a grown-up, when you're a grown-up, you'll go out there and help somebody or do something new. You'll apply these skills, right? The exams that you're taking, more or less after you've taken them, don't have any effect on the rest of your life. I'll be honest with you, okay? I'm a professor of astrophysics. I'll be honest with you. It doesn't really matter. You have to come to the university and show people that you're creative. That you can take the knowledge you have and not just tell me what I just told you. Apply that knowledge to do something different. To figure out a problem that I didn't tell you the answer to. You have to be prepared to do those things. You have to learn as much as you can, as deeply as you can. And like one of the speakers already mentioned, you have to follow what you're passionate about. Those are the things that you'll prepare yourself best to study. My favorite example of being prepared is a famous discovery in my field. These two guys won the Nobel Prize in 1978, completely by accident. They basically were the beneficiaries of something that goes, of a quote, a famous quote that goes all the way back to Louis Pasteur, where he said something like, "Chance favors only the prepared mind." These guys were actually engineers. They knew nothing about astrophysics. They were trying to figure out how to use that telescope, or that antenna, if you will, in the background to communicate with satellites. This was the 1960s. It wasn't every day that we communicated with satellites like we do now. They kept detecting something in their detector. They spent weeks actually trying to clean the pigeon poop out of the detector, because they thought that might be causing their problems. And eventually, they learned more, and they figured out, we've just made one of the most important discoveries in the history of mankind. And the thing that they saw is something that in my field is called the cosmic microwave background radiation. Doesn't look like much, but this is what it is. A bunch of blue and red dots. You can't actually see the cosmic microwave background radiation with your eyes. It's in the microwave portion of the spectrum, meaning that it's light similar to the light that is in your microwave ovens. It is light that is in your microwave ovens that is heating up your food. You just can't see it. But what it is it's a picture of the baby universe. I'm not going to get into all of the science behind this, but this is one of the ways that my colleagues and I have figured out a lot about the history of galaxies and stars and things like that in our universe. But this discovery was completely by accident. They were trying to do something different. And I think for many of us, including myself, the most important things that we've done were more or less by accident. I was sitting at my desk and I had an idea, and I said, this has nothing to do with what I'm actually working on. But I was able to recognize something important when it came along. And to me, that's really what you're being prepared for. You just want to recognize something important, something interesting when it comes along. And then you can really make a difference in the world. So that's my first little bit. That's what I think is the importance of scholarship. And then there's character, of course. And I'm trying to keep away from being cliche. So when I think about character, there are lots of things that come to your mind first. Helping people out, being honest, all that stuff. I think one of the important things you have to keep in mind is be humble. My 7-year-old, unfortunately, will go around telling people that he is the humblest person he knows. So I'm not sure that I've been very successful there yet. But be humble. Keep in mind that when we're thinking about new things, when we think about other people's perspective, a lot of it has to do with where we come from. Keep in mind that if you really want to understand something, if you really want to make a change, make a difference, sometimes you have to forget the few facts that you've learned. And I was really tickled when one of the quotes in the earlier speeches was from Richard Feynman, the person who won the Nobel Prize for the path integral formulation of quantum mechanics. That's indeed true. He was kind of a strange, irascible kind of guy. And this is one of my favorite quotes ever. It's kind of a strange quote to associate with being humble, but I'll explain why I think it's well associated with being humble in a second. He says, if you want to know the way nature works, we looked at it carefully, and that's the way it works. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. So he's a little bit of a strange, mean, some people would say, kind of guy, but he was brilliant. Go to another universe where the rules are simpler, philosophically more pleasing, more psychologically easy. I can't help it, okay? I'm going to tell you honestly what the world looks like to human beings who have struggled as hard as they can to understand it. And I can only tell you what it looks like. I'm not going to fake it. The reason why I think that this exemplifies being humble is what he's saying is, if you want to learn something, forget about all of the preconceived notions that you might have about how, what your sister should be feeling like, what your brother should be feeling like, what the universe should be doing, what the sun should be doing, what Mercury and the moon should be doing. That would be relevant for my field. Forget about all of those things. Humble yourself in front of the nature that you're trying to study. Look at the way it really is. Try to apply the rules that you're learning by observing nature in order to make the world a better place. And finally, one of the things I like to emphasize is, when you're talking to other people, remember to be humble. The reason he made this quote is that he was constantly having people come up to him and say, I just don't believe what you've discovered. It sounds too weird. Sounds too strange. And he's basically saying, look, I spent 20 years doing this. And you're going to come up to me in one day and tell me that it's not right? You know, it's strange? So humble yourself when you're speaking with other people. I think that's a really important aspect of character, a really important aspect of learning, and a really important aspect of making the world a better place. Now we'll move on to leadership. Leadership, this is actually probably the most important piece of advice that I have. I asked my colleagues what they thought the important aspects of being successful in science were. Being fearless was the one thing that everybody in my department said you have to be in order to be successful. There's lots of different reasons that you have to be fearless. This is probably the most famous Yoda quote of all time, right? Fear is the path to the dark side, fear leads to anger, all that stuff. Part of the reason you have to be fearless, for example, if you think about science, it took us 3,000 years basically to figure out what we know now. The first theory that is actually recorded was by an ancient Greek called Thales of Miletus. His theory of how the Earth got here was that there were 3 layers: the ocean, the dirt underneath the ocean, and the sky. And the reason that you had land in any particular place was because the waves would occasionally sweep the dirt into a mound. Then you'd have an island, and people would live there. Now, obviously, that's wrong, right? But you have to be fearless. In those 3,000 years, almost everybody who's ever had a theory about anything was wrong. Right? That's the way we make progress. The way you discover something new is trying something crazy. The way you change the world for a better place is trying something nobody has ever tried before. You're almost always going to be wrong. And if you're always afraid of being wrong, you limit what your potential could be, what your level of accomplishment could possibly be. So I think fearlessness, to a degree, is a really important character trait. It's a really important aspect of being a leader in any field. And then finally, of course, there's community service. You probably can anticipate what my take on community service would be. So here's Yoda again. It's to teach people things. Members of the National Honor Society, they are... It's like I remember, now there's another story about my 7-year-old. My 7-year-old, for whatever reason, I'm not a big person. He's just really big and tough. And I always tell him, look, you're a big guy. If you see somebody picking on one of the little kids, your job is to protect them. In the National Honor Society, you're like the big guys, or girls, of the adult world. You're the brains. You're the people that are most well-positioned to change the world. Okay? What you also have to keep in mind is that it's your responsibility then to teach everyone else all of the things that you've learned. Give everyone else the benefit of your preparation and your leadership. And in that way you can make the world a better place. So I think Yoda has it pretty much on point here. And these things, I think, are the 4 things, at least myself and my colleagues in the Department of Physics, actually, my specialty is astrophysics, I'm in the Department of Physics, identified as the important traits for success in science, and probably in most fields that you can think of. These character traits are what led thousands of scientists to figure out, first to take this image, to figure out what this image might be telling us about the universe. It's hopeless for me to tell you exactly all the things we've learned. So, I hope that that's somewhat informative. I hope that's something of a new perspective on the 4 pillars of the National Honor Society. Sorry I'm squatting in front of everybody. I didn't realize I'd get a lot of exercise. That's at least good. So I'll just leave you by saying, I hope everybody goes for it. He's brave. He's fearless. Probably not like Boba Fett. He wasn't really the nicest guy in the world. And can make the most of their opportunity to change the world, even a little bit. And that's basically all I have. Okay? Thank you for having me.
Okay, at this time, we are going to hand out the certificates to our new inductees. So would you please rise? Adam Ackerman. Elena Albenti. Morgan Anderson. Taylor Andrus. Trisha Ashton. Megan Barr. Sean Becker. Amy Bogan. Shannon Brady. Gabrielle Brookins. Craig Bruss. Daniel Burke. Aaron Burkhart. Josh Como. Alexa Fawners. Jessica Cook. Aaron Copeland. Courtney Fox. Matt Coyne. Caitlin Craig. Emily Davidson. Stephen Davis. Alyssa Debski. Christina Didiano. Rachel Dodson. Walter Donnellan. Andrew Dorr. Mara Ellsworth. Caitlin Ellsworth. Casey Execucity. Craig Fisher. Sarah Fullerton. Jessica George. Molly Graham. Josh Moonlight Graham. Carolyn Hancock. Caitlin Hancock. Anna Henkels. Lauren Hetzler. Samantha Jensen. Brendan Kale. Alexa Caligari. Athena Caligari. Alex Clara. Kristen Kohler. Nick Connick. Aditya Krishnachan. Corey Krobach. Emily Kugan. Cecilia Lacey. Juliana Lees. Derek Lesnick. Monica Law. Hannah Luchetti. Taylor Manorino. Emily Marzina. Joseph Mascaro. Louis McClendon. Erica Miller. Alexander Minton. Brendan Moorhead. Yelena Mervis. Shannon Muser. Rebecca Nijinsky. Tara Knapp. Laura Page. Christopher Papalia. Seeley Patrizia. Rachel Pierce. Keith Powell. Matea Bronich. Victoria Rutherford. Nicholas Salee. Katie Sarver. Taylor Scalise. Olivia Schenk. Julia Sherwin. Samantha Simpson. Austin Smith. Samantha Smith. Mackenzie Stark. Michael Stevenson. Kevin Strickland. Rebecca Swanee. Tabitha Swanson. Kelly Tambura. Abigail Thompson. Lauren Topp. David Allman. Krista Van Dyke. Allison Varga. Amanda Vorko. Benjamin Wallace. Molly Welsh. Matthew Westfall. Mark Woodard. Mallory Wright. Elizabeth Wasson. And last but not least, Caitlin Zaire. Please give one final round of applause for all of your efforts. At this time, I would like all now new members of the National Honor Society to please stand. And Shannon Fagan is going to give us the National Honor Society pledge. Current members as well.
If everyone would repeat after me, I pledge myself to uphold the high purpose of the National Honor Society. To which I have been elected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. I will be loyal to my school. And I will maintain and encourage high standards. Of character, scholarship, leadership, and service. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to ask everyone for a round of applause for our inductees and our current members, please. As you heard this evening, our National Honor Society is not about the induction evening. It's really about the time that will be spent in a forward direction and what our students will do and have done for our school and our community. Our students really have done some fantastic things. You heard some of those this evening. I would just like to add one initiative that they began this year, and that was the Bethel Park Great Alumni Hall of Fame. That was brought to you through the National Honor Society, and the reason why I would like to share that with you this evening is we inducted 7 members this year, and they are alumni of Bethel Park. You'll see the Hall of Fame when you go out to the lobby. And we are also asking you to think about great alumni that have graduated from Bethel Park and that you might be willing to nominate in the future. We will each year induct a new class. So thank you, NHS, for bringing that initiative and the other things that you've done to our school and our community. That's a great example. Thank you. Appreciate that. Seniors, I know just in a couple months you'll be graduating. I'd like you to think about the Bethel Park Pride as you move on, and what Bethel Park being a Blackhawk means, and know that you'll always be a Bethel Park Blackhawk, and you'll always be a member of this society, unless you don't do the things you're supposed to do. Our juniors and sophomores, you have a great challenge put forth in front of you. We ask you to continue your responsibility and do the things that you have done and will continue to do to make Bethel Park proud. thank you, and we'd like to thank you in advance. I'd like to wish our class of 2013, our Bethel Park chapter, good luck and thank you. Just a couple thank yous to our guests. First of all, Professor Zentner from the University of Pittsburgh. Thank you. You gave us such a great perspective. We really appreciate it. Fantastic. Thank you. What I really particularly liked about this evening's keynote was, really thinking differently and moving forward in a way that has a big picture in mind. And I thought you illustrated the 4 pillars in a really fantastic way. So thanks for sharing that with us this evening. I'd like to also thank some of our dignitaries in the audience for their support. They always support the things that we do. Our superintendent, Ms. Nancy Eloy Rose, thank you for all your support of all our programs here. We have School Board Vice President, Mr. Richard Rose, for your support of all that we do. Thank you. The administration at the high school, the principals, Mr. Lenowski, Mr. Johnson, and Mrs. Graff, thank you for all your work and support. And everybody's favorite, our Director of Public Relations, Ms. Vicki Floto. I'd like to thank our National Honor Society faculty selection committee, all the work. They spend an entire day sequestered, working through all the applications, really reviewing them in a very sound way, and the product tonight was 99 inductees. Thank you, faculty members, for your work. Finally, I'd like to leave you with just one small quote because I think it kind of goes together with what we heard this evening. And this is from Dale Carnegie. People rarely succeed unless they have fun in what they're doing. So find your dream, pursue it, and enjoy your journey along the way. Thank you. Turn the program back over to Caitlin. She's going to talk to you about our reception and other details.
There will be cookies and drinks in the cafeteria after, if you're welcome to join us. No. Right.